Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports with Monga. We are back with a bang. The next video, and what a qualifying! The rain, dry, everything. The weather played its part. Perez played its part. Yuki played his part. Logan Sargent played his part. This is just getting electrifying. And again, at the end of it, we always hope that Max Verstappen will pull a rabbit out of a hat. Literally, that's what we expect. But he seems to have dropped the ball, or at least he knows that he is not going to be fighting for the pole positions. Welcome to the Hungarian Grand Prix 2024 qualifying reaction, where it's ended with Norris clinching pole ahead of Piastri and Verstappen during a dramatic qualifying and in Hungary as Perez crashes out. If you're new to the channel, Sports with Monga there's a lot of more content coming through you. Sports with Monga is a fan reaction, something that I love watching, sports that I follow and I love watching. Formula One is one of those, football is the other, soccer in the US, and I follow tennis as well. So some of the games are all around the world, something that interests me, some talking points that I have an opinion about, I kind of bring it to you guys. So if you want to be on the journey, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and to be able for more videos. Let's get into the Hungarian Grand Prix, and let's get into the number one question on everybody's mind. When will Perez be sacked? Or when will Perez be fired as a Red Bull number 2 driver? He binned it again. He binned it again. Oh my God. In Q2, he binned it in turn 12, crashed. It's over. Max Verstappen, on the live feed, on the world feed, we're hearing Max Verstappen complaining about the rain. Like, GP goes to him, Max, what are you complaining about? Are you complaining about the tires? Or what? We can, if it's tires, we can kind of box you in. We can give you a new set of tires. What are you complaining? Stay calm. He's like, no, this rain. And boom, second, like, red flag. Second sector, yellow flag. And then suddenly, Red Bull in the wall. And by Mr. Sergio Checo, the Minister of Defense, Perez. Guys, at one point, I would call this bullshit that he is a better driver. He has lost his mojo. And how? Oh my fucking God. Absolutely nuts. It's absolutely bananas the way it's just been happening. He has had the worst run for any driver in that Red Bull. We have seen Alex Albon struggle, but still put the car in P8 or P9. He would qualify P5 when he was there. Sergio Perez at one point was P2 all the time. But something has happened and something has just gone off. Of course, a lot of discussions, and Christian Horner and Helmut Marko basically saying, before the summer break, we need to have a call. We can't be like playing this game with one leg, basically. Like, the constructors is gone. The drivers' championship could still be Max Verstappen. He will not be beaten. But the constructors can easily go. If McLaren gets 2 points, like 2 cars scoring points consistently, Max Verstappen can't. They can easily outwin him. Like, there is no, it doesn't work like that. The constructors title needs both drivers to score points. Max Verstappen can't be the only one and he's winning the race. Even wins all the races, which is not even possible anymore because Red Bull are struggling. It beat that now. Red Bull are struggling. So with Red Bull struggling, Sergio Perez not even putting the car in contention, how do you have a chance of actually winning the constructors? There is no chance Red Bull is winning the constructors if this continues. So I think that's a big topping point. A lot of rumors already flowing about. And what a moment for Daniel Ricciardo. Oh my fucking God, that guy will be like, my precious. This is how Ricciardo would be when he fucking put the car top. He topped the Q2. Oh my God. Perez binned it. Ricciardo puts it on top in Q2. Oh my. The worst day for Perez. He'll be like, oh, is this the worst day? But He's fighting for his seat. Yuki Tsunoda, of course, will be pissed because he's like, oh, you can't talk about Liam Lawson. Can't give this seat to Liam Lawson. I deserve Sergio Perez's seat if there is a seat. Go the fuck up. Christian Horner's guy is Ricciardo. If they have to make a call, so scenario planning, if by summer they want to drop Perez and Perez is like, okay, I'm done. I want to get, they will put Ricciardo in. This is how I think. They will put Ricciardo in that Red Bull. They would put Liam Lawson next to Yuki. They will let them fight out. Ricciardo will do a better job and he will put the car on the podium more consistently than Perez. That's what I feel. But at the end of the season, he will retire. Ricciardo will retire because he will win one more race with Red Bull in this second half or like in after the summer break. And he will retire. And he'll be like, okay, guys, I have done it out. I will do a shoey, the last shoey, and I'm done. I've done it. Thank you very much. This is my legacy. I am a 9-time Grand Prix winner. I will never be as good as Lando Norris. I will never be as good as Max Verstappen, but I will win one more race and I will hang my boot. And that is what he will do. And at that time, Red Bull will have the chance to kind of get Liam Lawson in. They can make us, because it doesn't make sense for Liam Lawson to be put in that seat, guys. That's what I feel. Okay, we're completely going on a tangent here. I know we're not talking qualifying, but these are just thoughts that I want to get out of my mind. That I don't think it makes sense for Liam Lawson to go directly toe-to-toe with Max Verstappen, because that's what's happened previously with Alex Albon, and people have struggled. It is daunting. It is not easy to be a teammate for Max Verstappen. Anyway, Lando Norris has taken the pole position for the Hungarian Grand Prix after a dramatic qualifying session, which featured wet, dry conditions. The weather played its part. It was dry, bone dry till FP3. There was nothing. And then it started pouring, like it poured massively. 2 red flags and a frantic final dash to the line. After the McLaren man set an impressive provisional pole time of 1 minute 15.227 during the opening runs of the Q3, the action was brought to a halt after Yuki Tsunoda suffered a heavy crash in the RB Visa Cash App car. As such, the session resumed with just 2 minutes left to the clock, and they played it strategically so well. It was so nice. They're like, okay, Yuki, it was so interesting from the Oscar's race engineer. Don't impede them too much to be cautioned by the marshals or like by the steward penalty. It's so interesting. Like, there are 2 minutes left. They're not going to finish the lap, and they're not going to have a good run. Nobody going to improve their lap. And it was so interesting. Max Verstappen didn't even bother. He was like, okay, I'm done. We're not going to improve. Somebody improves, they can have it. We're not going to improve this in these conditions. Given changing weather conditions, most of the field were unable to improve, and Norris retained P1 ahead of the teammate Oscar Piastri by 22,000th of a second. Max Verstappen, who opted not to put another lap in during the final moments, took third for the Red Bull, with Ferrari's Carlos Sainz in fourth and Lewis Hamilton rounding out the top 5 for Mercedes. Charles Leclerc slotted for P6 for Mercedes, while Aston Martin had a decent outing as Fernando, Alonso, and Lance Stroll took P7 and P8 respectively. RB's Daniel Ricciardo also enjoyed a solid day in P9 ahead of aforementioned Tsunoda in P10. Nico Hülkenberg just missed out on progressing to Q3 by 100th of a second in the Haas, while Kick Sauber's Valtteri Bottas also failed to make it and finished P12. Despite a promising showing, Williams' pair of Alex Albon and Logan Sargent dropped out of Q2 in 13th and 14th, along with Haas's Kevin Magnussen. There was significant drama in Q1, with Sergio Perez bringing out a red flag after hitting the barriers in a Red Bull. Having been unable to continue, Mexican ended the day in P16. Also eliminated was George Russell in P17, with the Mercedes man having seemingly put in a lap in too early. Zhou Guanyu finished 18th with Kick Sauber, while Alpine's decision not to put another lap in during the final moments backfired as Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly exited in 19th and 20th, respectively. Lots to get into. Let's talk about the Alpine boys. It was just a weird strategy. They did a lap, and then they didn't feel the track would improve, but the track started improving massively, and everybody in front of them improved their times. But then they didn't go out. I don't know what they were holding on to tires for. To cuddle with them, to kind of have warm blankets to sleep with them, and this just didn't. Bruno Framin, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's just fucking stupid. Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly just sat there in waiting for the for Q1 to end. It doesn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense. Absolutely didn't make sense to me. Like, I don't know. Zhou Guanyu, again, like, he put it up really high on FP1, of course, like 5th. People were like, what the hell? Okay, hello, kick sober, hello. Nothing. Knocked out massively in Q1, 18th. George Russell made a mistake, went a lap ahead, changed his tires, but didn't have enough fuel. It was rain, put in time, but it started, the rain stopped, or the rain kind of eased out a little bit, but he didn't have enough fuel in his car. Had to rush out, couldn't make it, messed it up royally. Total Wolff saying it was completely unprecedented. This cannot happen at a level of playing I'm sure some heads will roll possibly, or something will change in that setup. Mercedes had a good showing because, as I said, you know, they do struggle when it starts to warm up. The temperature was good enough, but it was hot because, you know, it's been hot for entire weekend. It was just raining before. They were hoping the rain will keep falling so that it allows them to cool their tires, because they're just massively rapid in the cooler conditions. That's what Hamilton also said in the media pen, that, you know, we were rapid in the first session because it was still cool, and the minute it became hot, their performance in the tire life was dead. It's going to be interesting to see tomorrow, because now we have Sergio Perez and George Russell starting from 16th and 17th tomorrow. So they will be kind of moving up, and that just means that somebody will have to take a risk. They will have to risk it all to kind of make better points. And when you take a risk, you make mistakes, and then you have crashes and stuff happens, and life goes on. But yeah, another interesting point to talk about is Logan Sargent, Kevin Magnussen, of course, like heading out of Formula One. But yeah, trying to put a good showing, couldn't kind of capitalize on it. Pretty much mediocre, but I think the main thing was because he's a tough negotiator, and behind him is Sergio Perez and George Russell. I hope nothing happened in the first turns, and if everything kind of is secured well, possibly it becomes a much harder race for both Sergio Perez and George Russell, because Kevin Magnussen won't let them go, won't let them pass he won't just slide away or like disappear. Logan Sargent binned it, like crushed or like damaged his front wing. There were some repairs happening on the car, and actually they were happily surprised that he could actually run the car again. Finished 14th, but again, a non-showing for him. Alex Albon, 13th. Did the same with 13th. Valtteri Bottas, 12th. Nico Hülkenberg just missed out. And it was interesting that in Q2, there was a possibility that Hamilton would actually be knocked out, but none of the 5 drivers, none of these guys here, Hülkenberg, Valtteri Bottas, Albon, Logan Sargent, or Kevin Magnussen, improved on their time. And they and, you know, Hamilton just scraped through, to be honest. 1:16.317 for Nico Hülkenberg, and 1:16.307, 100,000th of a second was what saved Hamilton there. The boys on front, the papaya army, I would want to get into. McLarens are rapid. It was interesting that it's pretty similar to, you know, the guy who knows their car is the best almost goes at the end. Like, this is what Max Verstappen would do, right? 33-second gap. Like, that's what he won the Hungarian Grand Prix last year. He is now P3. Like, that is frustrating to kind of understand, like, where am I? Like, what am I lost with? And so on and so forth. McLaren doing a great job with Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. But it's going to be interesting. Can they actually win the race tomorrow? That's the big question mark. They've made some bad strategy calls, but then can they get them right tomorrow and make it bears? And Lando Norris wins his 2nd Grand Prix. Possible. But anything can happen. Max Verstappen, and it's going to be a hot day again. They've understood that Max Verstappen can manage his car and tires much better than Oscar Piastri for sure. And Lando Norris has been on top of his game in this track, so it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of plays out. Carlos Sainz has been the best Ferrari for quite a while after Monaco, of course, but then Charles Leclerc again, P6 he was kind of improving, but he wasn't. It was also after like the crash that he had in FP1, and they had to kind of put the car back up. So it's interesting to see how things go. Fernando, Alonso and Stroll did a good job in P7 and P8. As I said, you know, the car works in hotter conditions for them, and it was interesting that it was pretty hot, and it did kind of improve overall. Interesting to see what happens tomorrow though. But then yes, the main question mark is, well, Daniel Ricciardo finished above or ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, who binned it in the final session. He was improving. He could have kind of pipped up, of course, Daniel Ricciardo, but then again, these mistakes count eventually. And in the Hungarian Grand Prix, the only driver who was happy, I think, was Daniel Ricciardo, because he was like, well, everything went for me. Perez knocked out, Yuki Tsunoda was shit, Max Verstappen was not happy with the car. I'll be happy to drive that car. Give me that car. So you get my point. So it's like a win-win-win for him, and he's like, ching, ching, ching. It possibly means that he might get the car in the summer. And, you know, who knows? Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? McLaren fans, do you actually feel that he will win it? It's going to be interesting for me to see actually holding Max Verstappen behind for quite a while becomes a problem. It is very hard because he's relentless. He will not stop. And that's going to be a big mental and concentration battle. I'm still thinking Fernando Alonso could be on the top step, not top step, but on the podium. That's been my crazy prediction. One of my predictions was, which was already become right, was like the biggest flop will be Checo Perez. I don't think he will finish the race tomorrow either. So that's going to be interesting for me. But yeah, drop in the comment section below, guys. Let me know, what do you think? McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari or Aston Martin. Who wins? McLaren, boys, is it 1, 2, and 3? Or is it just going to change something? I had my crazy prediction that George Russell will take out Max Verstappen in the first corner. But Russell is not there. But I'm sure Oscar Piastri might have something on the mind. But, you know, guys, it's going to be interesting. The Hungarian Grand Prix tomorrow. Race reaction will follow. I hope you enjoyed the qualifying reaction. Hit the subscribe button. More content coming through. Thanks for watching, and see you later. Peace.